Every tear shed for you is a piece of the love thou still feel, a love that might never fade, no matter how far apart they may be. Someone cried for you today, and in their heart they still hoped for a moment where things could be different. When someone cries for you, it's not just the pain they feel, but also the echo of what was once shared and what can never be again. Someone cried for you today, not because they wanted to hurt, but because they missed you in ways they couldn't express. The quiet sobs for you reflect a deeper longing, a feeling of being incomplete without the love that once was. Someone cried for you today, carrying the weight of memories that still linger in their heart, even if you don't feel the same. It's in the tears that someone remembers you, and in those tears, they wish for something that can never be reclaimed. Someone cried for you today, not out of sadness, but out of love that refuses to be forgotten. There are moments when the love we feel for someone becomes too overwhelming to hold in, and it spills out as tears, quietly reminding us of what once was. Someone cried for you today, holding on to the last thread of hope, even though they know the past can never return. Someone's heart broke today, quietly, because the love they felt for you never truly went away, even though time has passed. Tears aren't always a sign of pain. Sometimes they are a reminder of a love that still exists, even in silence. Someone cried for you today, remembering the way things were and wishing they could find a way to turn back time. When someone cries for you, it's not just about loss. It's about all the things left unsaid, the feelings that never found their way out. Someone cried for you today, wondering if you ever thought of them, if their love ever meant anything to you. There's a kind of sorrow that comes with unspoken love, and sometimes it leaks out as tears that no one will ever see. Someone cried for you today, and in their tears, they silently wished that your hearts could still be connected, no matter how far apart you were. Someone cried for you today, knowing they'd never be able to let go of the love they once shared with you. Tears are the quiet language of the heart, the words it longs to speak but cannot. Someone cried for you today, not because they wanted to, but because their heart was filled with the weight of what could have been. There are moments when love becomes so overwhelming that the only way to release it is through tears, a silent confession to the heart that still hopes. Someone cried for you today, holding on to the memories of a time when everything felt right, wishing they could relive those moments. The tears shed for you are an expression of love that couldn't find its way through the barriers of time and space. Someone cried for you today, feeling the sting of a love that couldn't be returned, yet still clinging to the hope that one day you might understand. Every tear that falls is a silent prayer for the moments that never happened, for the love that couldn't be fully expressed. Someone cried for you today, not out of bitterness, but because the space you left behind is filled with an emptiness they still can't fill. In the depths of their heart, someone cried for you today, mourning a connection they wish they could have preserved. Someone cried for you today, not because they hate you, but because they love you more than words could ever convey. Every tear someone sheds for you is a small fragment of their heart, still holding on to the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be theirs. Someone cried for you today because they realize that no matter how far they've come, they're still holding on to the past in ways they can't escape. Those who cry for you do so not because they are weak, but because their love for you has left a mark on their soul that nothing can erase. Someone cried for you today because, in their heart, they believe that the love you share could have been something more, something everlasting. Sometimes, the most painful tears are the ones we shed for someone we can't have, for someone who might never understand. Someone cried for you today, and in those tears, there was a quiet acknowledgement of the love that continues to burn even in their sorrow. Someone cried for you today because, in their dreams, you were still by their side, and waking up to reality felt like a loss all over again. Tears may fall for many reasons, but someone cried for you today because they still hope that fate might bring you back into their life. When someone cries for you, it's because they feel your absence more than they could ever admit, a void that no one else can fill. Someone cried for you today because their heart can't let go, even though their mind knows it should. Love doesn't always listen to reason. Tears are a reflection of the deep emotions that someone might never have the courage to express out loud. Someone cried for you today, not because they were weak, but because your absence became a wound they couldn't heal. There are moments when your name is whispered in the quiet of someone's heart, and tears follow, knowing that love can sometimes be a painful thing to hold on to. Sometimes the weight of the love we carry for others is too much to bear, and it spills over as tears, unanswered and unspoken. Someone cried for you today, wondering if you knew how much they wished you could feel their pain, how much they needed you to understand. There's a depth in the silence after the tears fall, where all the words that were never spoken seem to echo the loudest. If you could see through their eyes, you would understand how much they still care, even if the world feels far apart. Tears often hide the truth that someone still holds a piece of you in their heart, even if they have to let go. Every tear that falls is a silent message sent to the one you cannot be with, a reflection of feelings that never fully find their way into words. Someone cried for you today because the emptiness left behind by you is harder to carry than any pain they've ever known. When someone cries for you, it's a love that refuses to fade, even though it may seem like they've let go. Tears are the quiet echoes of the heart, silently crying out for something that was lost, a love that slipped through the fingers of time. The tears someone sheds for you are not signs of weakness, but of a heart that still yearns for a connection, even if that connection can never be. Someone cried for you today because they believed in you when no one else did, and that belief still holds weight even when distance grows. You might never know the sorrow they carry, how your absence weighs down their heart with every passing day. In the moments of quiet solitude, someone remembers you, and tears fall not because they miss you, but because they never wanted to lose you. Someone cried for you today, not just because of the distance, but because of the love that remained unspoken, too heavy to leave. There are days when the tears fall and no one sees, but the pain in the heart never disappears, always lingering in the background. Someone cried for you today, and in that cry, they remembered everything they had hoped for, everything they still dreamed of with you. The heart never forgets, and sometimes the tears are just a reminder that love doesn't always fade, even if time moves on. Someone cried for you today because they saw what you had and wished they could have been the one to stand by your side. Someone's heart was broken today, not by their own doing, but by the weight of emotions too strong to be ignored. Tears fall for many reasons, but often they come for the people we never wanted to leave behind. Someone cried for you today, feeling the sting of memories that never had their proper ending, and wondering if you felt the same way. It's amazing how a single thought of you can bring someone to tears, as if every part of them still holds on to the hope of one more moment. Someone cried for you today, and in those tears, they wished you could see the love that never really went away. Every tear shed in your name is a silent tribute to the love that was never fully given the chance to grow. Someone cried for you today because their heart still belongs to you in ways they can never explain. Sometimes love doesn't always get the happy ending we hope for, but it leaves behind tears that speak of a connection that can't be broken. The tears they cry for you aren't about regret, but about love that was too deep to ever fully let go. Someone cried for you today, not out of weakness, but because there is still a part of them that clings to the idea of you, even from afar. In the stillness of the night, someone cried for you, and those tears whispered the words they could never say aloud. Sometimes, the people we hurt the most are the ones who feel our absence the deepest, crying for what could have been and what was lost. Someone cried for you today because they thought of the good times and wished they could have them back just for a moment. Tears are a reflection of how much someone loved, how much they still love, even if they can never have you again. Someone cried for you today, feeling the weight of unspoken words and unshared dreams, wishing things had been different. The tears that fall for you are the unspoken words of a heart that still remembers, a heart that hasn't found peace yet. Someone cried for you today, remembering a time when life seemed easier with you in it, wishing for things that can never return. It's strange how someone can still cry for you even after so much time has passed, showing that love doesn't really know how to fade. Someone cried for you today because there are emotions they still carry for you, no matter how much time has passed.